I have more thoughts about the new Skate game, which apparently isn't actually. It's not called Skate 4. They purposely didn't call it Skate 4. Almost wisely, I guess, because calling it Skate 4 makes it like it's the next in the series of skate games, but it's not. It's its own separate little shitty shit thing. So I have thoughts about it. I'm not going to get into my other thoughts on the new skate game. I was thinking, maybe I'll make like a separate video specifically talking about. I probably won't. It's not. My hopes were high, and they were dashed. And I don't hate the game, but I just don't like it. Like, ultimately, I wouldn't review it positively. But that's not to say I haven't found at least some things in it to sort of almost enjoy, maybe. Well, because I'm not like I don't sit down to play it going, yeah, the new skate game, cool, let's go. But one thing I wanted and was at least somewhat excited for with the new skate game was just to skateboard around new places, new little places to skate in. That's with any game, any of the Tony Hawk's games. Whenever they came out, one of my favourite aspects was just new parks and levels and shit to skate around in. That's new obstacles to skate on, new lines to get cool looking tricks and shit. Just new areas to skate in, and that was true of Tony Hawk's, of the skate games, the OG original skate games. And so with this new skate game, that's sort of one of the things I've somewhat been able to appreciate. However, in small amounts, because that's all right. I was about to go off onto a whole thing about it's not great, the game, but right. So one so that's this, right. One of the main bits that I like about the game, because of the fact that it's online only and you can't even play it offline if you want to. There's no offline capability. So there's loads of other skateboarders in the game at the same time as you. I guess on whatever server or whatever. There's a few pedestrians, but ultimately any other skateboarders you see or any other people you see are other players skateboarding around. You can't bump into each other, which I think is maybe for the best. You'd like just skate through one another, which is probably okay. But of course, in the same way that I play Fallout 76, where if any of the other online players try to interact with me, which they have done, my usual response is to stare at them for a few seconds, slowly back away, and then just fast travel somewhere else and just vanish and go teleport somewhere else. Because that's not why I play games. I like playing video games on my own, just to be left alone. If it's Fallout 76, I just want to play some Fallout. If it's the new skate game, I just want to skate around. There's no interaction with other players in the new skate game, so that's not something I have to worry about. At least that's not a thing. Interaction with other players isn't a thing you can do, even if you wanted to. But even so, there are certain places in the game that are just crowded with other players. Just so many other skateboarders around, and if nothing else, it makes the frame rate drop, at least on my Xbox with my internet connection. So that's not useful. But just in general, like, I don't want to skateboard around places that are full of other people skateboarding around the places. So what I have done, and what I sort of enjoy doing in this new skate game, is to find what there are, which is several areas that are just like more mellow, simple areas to skate, either parks or plazas outside buildings and stuff. There's one particular concrete, like mellow bowl park that I really like and I really enjoy, and there's virtually no one ever there. It's right in the corner of the map, right on the coast, and every now and again, someone will pop into the park, skate around, and then realise it's mellow and boring, and then they'll fuck off somewhere else. It's not like, because there are these like mega ramp sections and like huge ramps on top of buildings where you go down a huge ramp and jump over like a gap between buildings, and then another one and another one in a row. And those are like, if you go to one of those, it's just dozens and dozens of other skateboarders, other players skating on that, and it's just like, ugh. And that's not even what I enjoy about skateboarding games. The big jumps are like fun once or twice to go, oh, it's a big jump. But ultimately, if I'm playing these sorts of games, I want the mellow little concrete parks with graffiti and trash everywhere. That suits me, doesn't it? You know me. That's my vibe. That's my aesthetic. That's what I go for. That's what I like, what I enjoy. Big, grand spectacles of skateboarding it's not the thing. What I like is the subtle stuff, the little in between bits that other people don't like. Other people clearly don't like because they don't skate in these places. They skate to them, around them, through them, but they don't skate. They don't stop and skate in them. There was one plaza I was skateboarding in, and one other excuse me. And one other player showed up to skate there for a bit. And I was like, oh, okay, that's not too bad, it's whatever. But then another skateboarder came along to hang out and skate. And I was like, nah, fuck this. And I left. I went and skateboarded somewhere else. Because that's not what I'm about. I'm not a social creature. I'm not in this to hang out with other skateboarders and build a community around a shared interest. I'm here to play a video game skateboarding on my own, so fucking leave me to it, bitches. So that's something I appreciate, because you can do that in any like skateboarding game. You can go to, any small mellow area and just skate. But the fact that it's an online game, the fact that there are other real world people playing it that may or may not show up, means I get to not just skate around in quiet areas, but actively be antisocial, actively avoid other people. And that's what I like. That's one thing this game has over the other skate games, which I think you could play online, but I never did, is the ability to genuinely be antisocial by avoiding all other people. And I appreciate that. If nothing else, I appreciate the game for that reason. For it allowing me to be extra antisocial. Oh, speaking of skateboarding, boom! First try. No need to edit that at all. Speaking of skateboarding, wow! Did you... So something I've been seeing a lot of online recently, because Instagram's algorithm works in such a way that if you view a video, a reel, or like a picture of a certain topic, it will just start feeding you loads of the same shit. Because that's how it works, isn't it? You see one thing you like, that's all you ever want to see again. So I might watch a skateboard clip and then it will start showing me loads of just fucking skateboard videos. But there's a particular kind of skateboard videos I've been seeing a lot of, which is not a new phenomenon or anything, but I just happen to have seen a lot of them recently. And that's tutorials, but like... how to skate, how to, even just the basics, even literally down to like how to stand on your board, how to carry your skateboard, best like skateboarding outfits, best shit to wear while skateboarding, best way to to push with style in skateboarding. And so there are trick tips as well, how to ollie, how to this, how to that. They're almost always done by just someone who's just learnt how to do the trick, and now they're telling you how to do the trick as if they are an authority on it. Which, I mean, in one way that's fine, because they have evidently learnt to do a trick and they're sharing what they know, what they've learned from learning to do the trick. So I don't hate that too much, but I fucking hate it because well, and there's that, and there's been a lot of videos I've seen of like how to graffiti, like how to draw a K in graffiti, how to draw an M in graffiti, how to spray paint your name in how to do a tag, how to do a throw up, and like it's these things specifically that it annoys the piss out of me, because now I can be a gatekeeping son of a bitch about certain things, but in some ways I feel like, yeah, it's good to have a community built and to have the resources that you didn't have before. Like back in the day, it wasn't possible to like go online and learn how to skateboard, learn how to graffiti, learn this, learn that. But like, I feel like with things like that, with things like graffiti and skateboarding, you shouldn't be learning online how to do it. Like that's one of those things where you really should learn by doing. Like you should be learning to skate by going out and skateboarding. And because I can say, you should go to a skate park and talk to other skaters and either have friends who skate or make friends who skate, and they'll impart their wisdom. They'll show you how to do it. I understand that's not always possible. You might be in a remote place where there's not many people around and you want to learn how to skateboard. But then it's like, there's just something, it feels icky when you're going online to find tutorials on like how to graffiti. It's like it's so backwards. Like, oh, tell me how I can be a renegade, a punk, a vandal. Teach me how to. Like, you're not supposed to go online and find a guide of how. Like, it's like someone telling you how to be punk, how to dress punk, how to make punk music. It's like, it's not. There is no how. You just do it. You don't. And, you know, like graffiti and skateboarding, they're their own skill sets in a way, and you kind of have to learn how to do them or learn how to do them well. But that's part of, you start off doing it shit and then you hopefully learn and take that wisdom on and then better yourself from it, rather than going online and seeing some fucking 19-year-old in his really nice bedroom, or he's not even showing you how to do graffiti, he's showing you how to do graffiti on a drawing tablet, on an expensive drawing tablet, digital artwork in his, you know, bedroom with all his cool shit in it, his expensive shit that his parents have bought him. It's like, oh, this is how to draw a graffiti. Gee, wow. Like, that's because it's graffiti and skateboarding are two things that fit along the same sort of tram lines, really, because they're counterculture. Like punk, hip hop, graffiti, skateboarding, it's supposed to be counterculture. It's the shit you do that like isn't cool. You're not supposed to do it, but then you can do it and you can get good at doing it, and it's sort of, you're not supposed to learn how to perform counterculture. And there, like I say, there's an argument to be made of like, now we have the ability to like share online and learn online of how to do these things. They previously weren't there. But like, if that's how you learn to do something, I don't feel like you're going to be as good at it as you might be if you just involved yourself in that culture. If you just dived in and took the culture in and took the culture on, you're going to learn about it firsthand, and that's going to give you much better like skills and experience than an online tutorial that you saw. Of course, I understand largely the people making these videos are literally creating content. You know, they're not doing it because, well, they're not necessarily doing it because they genuinely want to like share how to do a thing and make more graffiti artists and make more skateboarders. Like, oh, I can make a video about this and it'll get views and whatever. And maybe that's a cynical way to look at it, but you're not supposed to... I'm not going to offer any, alternatives. Really. Well, I mean, actually, in a way I am. The alternative is just to fuck it, to say fuck it and just do the shit. If you want to learn graffiti, fucking get some marker pens and start writing on shit. Start noticing it, start studying it, and you'll start picking up on patterns and techniques, and maybe you'll meet people and people who have been doing it, and they can share their knowledge with you. Which, I mean, is a thing. Like, if you live in a remote place and there's not many people around, okay, fine, sure. But ultimately, if you start doing a thing, you are going to run into other people who do that thing. Like, inevitably, it's gonna happen, even if you do that thing on your own. I started painting graffiti on my own, and people started noticing and started talking to me because I do it, and these were other people who did it, and they said, hey, let's go fucking write tonight, whatever. Like, without even trying to, you get involved with people who do the shit that you do. Even if the people are online, like, they'll see you, and they'll see you doing your shit, and you'll become more involved in that thing. But you can't just learn how to... It feels so backwards. I don't know. And this is just, old man yells at cloud. That's what this is currently. It's just me going, there's fucking shit back in my day. We left the house and we actually went and did shit. We didn't fucking spend all our time on fucking TikTok and Instagram learning how to skateboard, learning how to paint graffiti. We went out and we fucking did. But back in my day, we didn't spend all our time on Instagram and TikTok. If we wanted to learn how to do a thing, we left the house and we went and fucking did it. Especially and that's one reason where I feel, even with things like drawing and stuff, I feel odd trying to like teach how to do it. That's why I haven't really done like an online course or whatever, because I've seen loads of those recently. It feels like every fucking artist I follow has started doing a course on something. It's painting, drawing, tattooing, whatever. And it's like, just do the thing. Like, how much can you... That's why I've said before, I've say again and again, if I ever make a video about my painting or drawing, it's never me saying this is how to draw, this is how to paint. It's just me saying this is how I do it. This is how I approach the artwork that I make. If you can take anything from that, cool, but that's not, I'm not doing this as a learning tool or whatever. It's just, I'm just showing what I do. And everyone's different. Everyone learns in different ways. I know. I understand. I get it. But everything I know how to do, I learned by doing it, but also by looking at it. Like looking at a painting and going, oh, okay, I can see it's obviously acrylic paint because I've used acrylic paint and I know how it looks. And there's brush strokes here, pen here, there's this and that, and spray and stuff. And you go, okay, I could probably do that. And then you fuck around on a piece of paper and you go, oh, this hasn't worked, but this little bit looks right. So if I focus on that, then do more of that. And then I'll get better at making this bit that works, but across the whole thing. And just bit by bit, you gradually get better at it. And that's like, that's been the case with like graffiti and drawing and whatever else. It's you involve yourself in the shit and then you learn how to do the shit and get better at it and better at it and better at it. And you should want to learn, but like asking somebody, oh, how do you learn to do this? How can I do that? It's like you literally have to just fucking do it. There's no quick fix. You're not going to become good at drawing overnight. You have to just do the fucking thing. And especially with skateboarding and graffiti, like these are such... I'm going to use the word punk to describe like an overall, the overall counterculture sort of thing of like of being punk, which encompasses, hip hop, graffiti, skateboarding. It's a punk attitude of like DIY, doing it yourself. Because quite literally, skateboarding is not always, but at its most basic, it's a fairly individualistic, do-it-yourself kind of thing. And graffiti, the point of graffiti is to go out of your own accord and take up space in the society you inhabit, to do it yourself, to go out and like put your name on a wall. And drawing, it's like you and a sketchbook, and that's the purest form of like art, is just you and the thing that you're making. It's so yourself. In the words do it yourself, DIY culture, punk culture, the word yourself, I feel, is a very important part of that. Like, having community is important, and in punk in general, community is an important part of it. But the word yourself, I feel, is very, very important within that. Like, literally fucking do it yourself. Well, I figured, since I've got the Slain book out in front of me, I'll look at some Max comics. Duh, obviously. I have the first 3 issues and also issue 6. 2 copies of issue 6 apparently. I thought I had the whole run. I got these out of the box and I was like, I swear I'd bought the entire, but I realised no, that's the Pit comics. I bought the entire run of Pit comics, which is a different Image Comics, muscly, weird alien man, creator-owned comic thing, and the Max isn't. Anyway, yeah, I've looked at them before. I've spoken about Max Keith before. The whole thing, the whole shebang. But once again, on my list, I have a Max commission to do. I have a few ideas what I want to do of it. What I want to do with it. But I figured it's fucking, I'll look through the comics and find something I can just copy. Because, fucking, why not? Sometimes people like that. I try not to do that too much, to just copy a pre-existing... What am I? AI? But sometimes people appreciate... Like, if you do a copy of, like, an iconic cover, like the Batman from the Dark Knight Returns or whatever, with his hands like, and he's just taken up the whole cover. It's a big bulky Batman on the, like, there's been a bazillion homages and parodies and copies of that cover. And sometimes if you do something like that, like, oh hey, here's a thing of Batman cover for someone, and they'll be like, oh hey, cool, it's like the Batman cover. They dig it sometimes, but if you do that too much, so I figure if I find a cool panel or something of the Max, and I draw it as if I were drawing the original panel, so it looks more like my artwork, but it's clearly copied, inspired by the comic, then I think the person will appreciate that, because they'll see it, they'll be like, oh, it's from the thing, yeah, it's that thing. It also makes it easier for me because it means I don't have to come up with anything. I just copy an existing panel, draw it, paint it in my own way, and so good. Do a really random one like this. The Max just climbing onto the roof of the building with his ass. And I could really emphasise the ass. Like I did on this back cover for his ass. I was thinking about doing a Gun Viking meets the Max painting. Like just a one image. Almost like a sort of like, you son of a bitch. That whole thing. But like either Gun Viking or the Max saying to the other one, hey, nice outfit, because they're both wearing tight purple clothing and they both have yellow parts to their costumes, which wasn't intentional when I designed Gun Viking originally. I don't think it might have been. I might have just been copying other shit. But that would be quite a funny little, just a one page or one panel little thing of like, you know, the Max, Gun Viking, and just looking at each other being like, hey, real recognise real. That whole thing. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it, hey? Oh, that'd be fucking cool, wouldn't it? I like the box. I'd like to incorporate the box into a piece. But also, actually, my own version of this would be quite cool, because I do like arms. I do like painting arms, like in Gun Viking. When I did, there was that one where it's just the arm. Well, I focused quite a lot on the arm. Get the arm. So I could sort of like, I think this would be quite cool if I sort of draw this and have the arm curved around and out a bit more, and then put Mr. Gon between like the Max's head and fist, and then just Iz's around, and then with the purple and gold of him, and then the blue in the behind, in the background. Like it would be give me a scrap of paper, like, and I prefer to work portrait, so it would be like this, and have the Max's head here, and then his arm, his big bulky arm here with his fist like that, and Mr. Gon here with all of his blue shit everywhere, and then like Iz's around the place. Like that could be quite cool. Clearly just fucking copied from the comic, but also changed enough that it's an original. This is his eye and his teeth. Well, that could work, couldn't it? I could do that. Again, saves me having to fuck, because as I say all the time, genuinely one of the hardest parts of coming up with of doing like any sort of commission or whatever, when it's a character or whatever it is just coming up with the fucking pose. I have spent literal hours upon hours upon hours and pages of scrap paper scribbled on and thrown away just trying to figure out poses for a character for a commission. That's like literally just like a character on a blank background about this size, you know, a not particularly particularly expensive commission, and I've spent fucking hours toiling over just how to fucking draw them, just what position to draw them in, so like an action pose, because I don't want it to just be standing there and feel static, because then it's like someone's paid me for what, like a fashion illustration concept design of a character just standing there. So no, I want to put something in there, but I don't want to make it like have too much going on, because again, if they haven't paid like a load of money, I can't afford to just. But then I'm spending hours and hours on it anyway, more than I should for the money I'm making, just trying to figure out a fucking pose for the fucking character. Jesus. Oh, there's also, so that's a separate look. It's the matching. I thought about doing like my own version of this cover, which could be quite cool. Emphasize the red a bit more, and maybe incorporate the red into the Max. But that's one commission. I actually have 2 Max commissions on my list at the moment. One of them is just the Max. Another one is very specific, which I quite like. I've been building up to it, which is a mashup of Where the Wild Things Are and the Max, which is quite cool, as quite a cool idea. I can't remember the details. I'll need to look back at the messages, but there is like having like the Max, I think, as one of the wild things, and then is it Julie, the lass, as like the little kid in front of him in the desert or wherever. That's cool. So that would be a cool painting to get done. I mean, all the paintings I do are going to be cool paintings, aren't they, eh? I'm not going to talk too much about it, but like, there's certain things I like and certain things I don't like about the Max and comics like it. Because it's a creator-owned comic. It's truly somebody sitting down and just making the shit that they're making. So you get weird details like this cow faucet that also dispenses like soap and whatever. The cow udder ass thing, and its tail turns it on or whatever. Which is a weird detail. It doesn't even fit into like the rest of the vibe of the set or whatever, but it's quite a funny little fucking detail. But then you also, and that's like, I don't know, it's a neat detail, but it doesn't really fit. It's a bit unnecessary, but it doesn't mean it shouldn't be in there. And then the panels, like I like that there's different shaped panels and stuff like this. But then it's like how, like I'm all for non-traditional panel layouts, but some of the ones in the Max are just like kind of baffling. Or maybe the previous issue had some more examples, but it's not even a bad. It's just fuck it, it's whatever. That's a cool pose. That's really what I'm looking for. Just any sort of cool Max poses that I can steal and utilize for my own means. I love a good back shot. So that's funny because I like drawing bums and stuff in tight clothing, like Gun Viking, the Minotaur, whatever. But also, back shots is sex from behind. It's a slang term for sex from the back. So back shots, because it's like a shot, like a camera shot, like a picture from the back, but it's also sex. That's a good one. A running Max would be a cool one. I could do loads of Izzies in the background, like charging after. Or I could not. This one's cool because he's fighting like a street shark, almost. There's Calvin and Hobbes. It's pretty funny. Oh, and Savage Dragon's in it, evidently. This feels so different to the last few issues. They obviously upgraded the sort of paper they're printing on, so the black ink comes out a lot more deep and contrasty, and his art style has not really changed, but it feels a bit different to how it did in the first issues. And this is only issue 6; it's only a few issues ahead, but it does have a different vibe to it. And the Max versus the Street Shark isn't too far removed, I guess, from Gun Viking versus the Minotaur. Again, not intentional, but not wholly different. That's a good one. Him all tied up. That's also a good one. I feel like this would be cool, but I would put more emphasis on the fists, because they look like just weird hooks here as opposed to the fist with the finger claw. So yeah, if I were to take this, I'd probably widen the legs a bit, bring the arms and hands out and make the hands more refined as fists, and then still keep in all the fucking cabling or whatever. That could be quite cool. I always did appreciate the hand-painted elements he puts in there. Especially because, again, with this one, with the matte paper, it all has a sort of slightly toned down vibe to it. But then when all the pages are so like I say, it's stark in terms of contrast. The colours are so vibrant because of the printing methods. When you do get a hand-painted page, it really stands out. And I like that. Like, in some ways, you might want it to be a bit more incorporated, to not look so different. But for a comic like the Max, having these sort of standout moments is really quite something. I think in the Nick Klein Hulk comics I've been looking at, or had been looking at, there are pages within that are like hand painted with like ink washes or watercolors or whatever it is, and that's a good example where the hand painted elements don't feel too different, because it looks like, you know, Nick Klein there is using his same inking methods, but he's just putting colour on top of it. Whereas the paintings here feel miles and miles away from the inking methods used in the rest of the comic. Like, there's no harsh ink lines or bold contrast or whatever. It's all softer. So that it's, in a way, the same thing. It's having an ink with digital colour comic with a couple of pages of hand painted colour to give emphasis to a certain scene or whatever. But then the Max does it, and it's like, pow, like this is a separate thing. Whereas Nick Klein's Hulk does it in a way that's more mellow. And you could even get away with not really noticing the fact that it's hand-painted colour. It might just look a bit different. The colour just looks a bit different. It could even look like it's done digitally. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Oh, Max, yeah. Obviously, I'm doing like... I mean, I don't even need to explain, do I? You can see it's clearly... It's like that. But it's like this, but like this into this. So it's like a combination. It's like what I was saying about the Macs, innit? It's like you do it like, oh, it's like that thing, but slightly different to that thing. It's like you've taken the thing, but done it slightly differently. It's like Family Guy humour, innit? Oh, I get the reference. Hey, that's the thing I know. I like it now because I know what the thing is. It makes me feel like I'm smart, like I'm in on the joke, because I know what the thing is. I know the thing. I understand art because I've seen that. So I know what, and I know that Ewan does goblins, and so I know that it's like that, but with that, in that. Ah, smart that is, and I'm smart because I understand it. I guess ripping on people for liking references to things is a bit passé. I do that. I've genuinely been contemplating putting a video together that would be titled something like "Everything I Know About Shaun of the Dead," where I just sort of go through Shaun of the Dead and I point out all the references to things and I go, oh, this is a reference to that. This is about that. Did you notice this? This is from here. These actors were also in this thing. Also with these actors in this thing. And this was from here. And so I watched shit like, Spaced, the show, which one episode of in particular was the genesis of Shaun of the Dead. It's the episode with Vulva, if you're unaware. And Spaced is like fucking 90% references to shit from like the 70s and 90s and previous, sorry. Because it was made in the 90s. So, and I love that shit. I watch Spaced and I go, haha, yeah, that I know what that is. I get the reference. Brilliant. And same with Shaun of the Dead. I watch it and I go, ha! That's we're coming to get you, Barbara. That's from Night of the Living Dead, where he goes, they're coming to get you, Barbara. Because it's not directly copying, but it's referencing the. So I can rag on people for being like, oh, I'm smart because I got the reference. But then I say that knowing I'm one of those people. And it's not even a matter of I'm smart because I got the reference. It's a matter of, hey, this thing that I like is referencing this other thing that I like. That's cool, isn't it? Yay. So, references are... that's not... It wasn't my intention to talk about any of that. Just saying, look, I'm drawing... See, because it's like... So I did some slaying. I really like this. It didn't come out exactly how I wanted it to, but I like it regardless. I really like the shape of the body. I feel like I got the sort of curves of his torso down quite well. The arm is a bit meh, but because look at a rat. I've just been literally going through this sketchbook, filling in the gaps like this. There's a gap here. I'll put a fucking rat in there because these are rats and it sort of fits. Put a slaying here. I did a dinosaur. See, like my niece's shitty drawing of a dinosaur. But if it was an actual dinosaur with that shitty head, and there's going to be a photocopy of her original drawing here at some point. And so I taken up this page because I did some other goblin slayings here, and so I thought I'd just put another one in here and make it nice and colourful. I'll get blue. I'll get the blues in there. I might even paint over this at some point. I might do what I've been doing quite a lot lately, which is photocopying pages from my sketchbook, because I'm going to talk about this in the sketchbook tour video, but I'll mention it now also. Normally I'm happy to sell pages from my sketchbook, but usually, and I tell people this when they ask, they say, oh, that drawing's really cool, is it for sale? And I say, yes, but not yet. Like, I'm happy to pull pages out of my sketchbook and sell them if people want them, but not until I've finished the sketchbook and then filmed a sketchbook tour video, documented the sketchbook in some way as a whole, then I'm happy to tear pages out, tear the thing apart, sell it, take it apart, sell it for parts, take it, rip it to pieces, sell it for parts, like a car, but a sketchbook. However, sometimes, especially it has been the case this past year, sometimes I just need some fucking money. So when people have said, is this page for sale? I say, yes, give me some fucking money. And then I tear the page out, take it to the copy shop, the printing place, get a colour photocopy. So there's a few places where I have gotten a colour photocopy, put it in place of the original page that was in here before. And now, so the image is here and I can look at it when I do a sketchbook tour video, but it's a copy, not the original. So this sketchbook will soon be ready to do a tour video of, but I will have to mention that a bunch of pages in here are photocopies because of that reason. And this, I might get a colour photocopy of this one and then paint it. I might not, I don't fucking know. Shut up. I was watching a video recently of somebody talking about, I don't know if it's an actual phenomenon, but it's something of like a paradox within scenes like punk music. And this person was coming at it from a point of like almost, not quite, but almost talking bad about punk musicians who talk about selling out, because they were saying, you know, as a band, you want to play to more people and you want to make money from your music, but then you don't want to get paid a lot of money to do a show. Like, they were saying, like, there's a weird paradox or something there where, you know, you shouldn't, you know, blame other bands for selling out when that's something that you want as a band. You want to have more people listen to your music and see your shows and whatever, which at its most basic I can get on board with, but I think that misses quite a lot of points about like music in general, and especially like punk music. Because, for instance, if there's like a punk band and they, you know, they're given an opportunity to play in some like huge arena to like open for a more popular band and you know, play in this huge arena, get paid loads of money for it, so that, well, to make more money and to have a wider audience. I think the issue is, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I had this in my head so clearly, and I was like, yeah, I'll bring that up because it'll be because it is relevant to, you know, what I've been talking about with DIY and whatever else, and punk. The whole punk thing is, it's similar to YouTube, where if you're doing YouTube videos specifically because you want to make money doing YouTube videos, so you craft your thumbnails in very specific ways, you have clickbait titles, you make videos about things that are currently popular that people will click on, and then you have advertisers, well, you have people put adverts on your videos, and then you have sponsorships that are not relevant to you or what you do, but they're willing to pay you money to mention them in videos, and so you do that. That's selling out. Whereas if you know, like me, if you're a purist, if you've got integrity like me, if you're really like of sound heart like me, if you're really good like me, then what you do instead, or the opposite to that, would be you just make the shit you're making because you're not doing it for outside validation. You're not doing it to get noticed. You're not doing it to make money. You just want to make art. You're going to be making art. You're going to be talking a bunch of shit. And then you video it and put it on the internet. And if people want to watch it, it's there for them to watch. You're not clickbaiting your titles. You're not making your thumbnails huge and you know, you're not making your thumbnails in such a way to maximize views and maximize click through and whatever else. You make your shit, you put it out there because that's what you do. That's the thing you do, and you're gonna do it regardless. Because the people that make YouTube videos for money, if it all breaks down, if they stop making money from it, then they'll probably stop making YouTube videos. It's happened with a lot of people. Whereas the people who don't do it for the money, don't do it for the exposure, are still going to be doing it regardless. They'll still be doing the thing. Like if someone stops making money from YouTube for whatever reason, then they're not still going to be making video essays. They're not still going to be spending, you know, months editing a 4-hour video talking about whatever current subject or current film is popular or whatever. I mean, they might. I say that as a very broad generalization. But, you know, if you're like me, people like me, cool people like me, people who are true and honest and have integrity like me. I mean, I'm not making money from YouTube videos anyway, so it's fucking whatever. But even if I have to get another job, say, as I may have mentioned I might have to do, I did say, you know, the art will likely stop. Chances are the art will continue. It will just be in much smaller amounts. I'm still going to do it, regardless of you know, the exposure or whatever. It's always gonna happen. It's just... Also, when I make a video saying, if I have to get a job, there'll be no more art ever because I won't have the energy for it. That's me saying that in the moment. That's how I feel in the moment. Maybe I'm emotional. Realistically speaking, I've tried not making art before and I can't. It happens. It's all I've got. It's all I do. But so all of that is to say, with punk, it's like there's a difference in playing the music you want to play to people that want to hear it. Like I said, if you do anything, if you skateboard, if you paint graffiti, if you create, if you're out there doing shit, you're going to run into the people that also are into that shit. So if you're a punk band, for instance, and you're putting your music out there, the people that are really into it will be looking for it. They're looking for the thing that you do. They might have difficulty finding it. Hopefully they do find it. But the people that are really into what you do, and that's for anything. If you draw, if you make comics, if you sculpt, if you skate, if you whatever, make music, the thing that you do, it might feel like you're a lone little weirdo on an island, but there are people out there looking for you. There are people that are just waiting to find the thing you do, that are looking for it. They you know, scroll through Instagram every day, kind of hoping that they just happen to see on their grid, on their explore page, one little square thumbnail of your artwork. That's something about it is just going to hit them like, oh fuck yeah, I love that handmade zines and the weird little characters and the lines they use. There's something about their artwork that I just fucking love, that speaks to me. I'm so glad I found that one picture and then found that artist and then found their artwork. There are people out there that are actively looking for what you do right now. Whoever you are, whatever you do, there are people looking for you. So that's the people that, like, you don't make art for those people, but you make art and it will attract those people eventually, hopefully. And that's so that the opposite to that would be putting your art out there, paying to put your art out there, paying for billboards to show it off, to be like, everyone, look, here's my art, look at my art, everyone look at my art. And that's selling out. It's taking the money to get as wide an audience as possible to people who will look at your art and go, oh, that's cool, and then the next week forget about it because they like you in the moment for what you produce. Whereas the people that are actively looking for your artwork, that actively want to be into what you are doing, if they find you, they're going to hold on to you with everything they've got, and they're not going to forget about you. They're going to cherish you. And that's how like cult followings work with like weird indie films and bands and shit. That's how that independent stuff gets popular. Because it's not some fucking, huge Marvel movie or whatever. But eventually, the people who are really into that one specific thing that piece of media does will find it and they'll love it and they'll share it with their friends and their communities and it will gain a cult following. That's how that shit works. And I think that's a much more pure way of art appreciation. And that's why there is a difference in like, why punk bands will talk about selling out, because it's taking the paycheck rather than focusing on the shit. I'm just repeating. You get it. I know you get it. I know you understand what I'm saying. That selling out is a thing. I guess I could tie it into the whole comedy festival in Saudi Arabia. Selling out is a thing. Oh, they commit horrendous atrocities of human rights violations. They fucking butcher and chop up journalists and put them in suitcases to hide them or carry them out of the building or whatever. Oh, but they're paying me like $1.5 million to show up at this comedy festival they're putting on. So, you'd all do it as well. You'd all take the paycheck. You'd all give up your integrity for a paycheck. Don't lie. Ooh. Fucking worthless cunts, a lot of them. Just briefly, if you look at the comedians who are taking part in that Saudi Arabian comedy festival, most of them you look at and go, I absolutely can see why they're doing it, because fuck them. But there's a handful. There's a very small handful that I see on the list of comedians appearing there, and it's like, really? I thought maybe you were one of the good ones. But then there really are no good ones. And I mean that of people in general. There's no good people ever, anywhere. And that's why you've got to be the good one. There you go. We tie it all back. You have to do it yourself. You can't expect artists, comedians, musicians, whoever, to have integrity for you. You can't rely on them. Maybe you like what they do and you enjoy watching them when they bring out a new thing. You're on it. You're like, oh, fuck yeah, a new comedy special from whoever. But chances are there's going to come a time where they let you down by taking a ridiculous paycheck to perform in a place that just shouldn't be. And so you've got to do it yourself. I don't know. You've got to make your own comedy specials. I don't know what the fuck my point is. My point is, do it yourself. Don't worry about online tutorials. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Just focus on you, focus on your art. Make the shit. Make the shit you want to make. You'll find your audience, you'll find your community. And something, something, something. And that's the end of this.